Ladies and gents, boys and girls, today I bring you the Land Rover Discovery 5. This particular car is a HSE luxury spec and it's on a 2020 model. It's the TD V6 turbocharged V6 3-litre diesel engine. Boasts nearly 250 brake horsepower and 570 nanometers of torque. Absolutely beautiful. I think this particular car has a lovely specification. It's an aerodynamic package, so it looks a little bit more aggressive. It has a beautiful interior. I'll take you around the car so you can have a look at it. It comes with 22-inch wheels as standard and sits and looks the absolute part, if you ask me. It's always been one of my favorites, the Land Rover Discovery, and it has great capabilities. It has a wading depth of nearly 90 centimeters. This car can do 0 to 60 in about 7 seconds. So, you know, quite impressive for a car which weighs nearly 2.5 tons and fully loaded, gross vehicle weight of 3.5 tons. Can actually pull a trailer up to 3.5 tons also. So if you've got a twin axle trailer that you want to pull, that's going to be carrying great loads, this vehicle is the one for you. Check it out, see what you think. The big question, is it better than the Range Rover? Well, I'm going to let you guys answer that question for me. Let me know in the comments below what you think, whether this vehicle is better than the Range Rover and whether it serves more purposes. Personally, I think it's a cracking car and an absolute beauty to own, and I would love to own one of these if I could afford it, but unfortunately this one's not for me. But a great car to review, and we'll take you around the car, we'll have a look, we'll take it for a little drive and see what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe, hit the notifications button, so as soon as I make a new review you'll get a notification straight away and you can check it out. Let's check out the car. So like I said, being the aerodynamic package, It does have that slightly more aggressive looking front, has these lovely louver type vents, which are actually just a visible amenity. Don't actually serve a purpose, they don't send any air. Looking at them, there's no grills going through there, so purely just for the look of the vehicle, to give it that aggressive look. And these wheels are absolutely lovely, 22-inch with nice Pirelli tyres, absolutely beautiful. These vents here are absolutely lovely, give the car a beautiful look, and generally has a really nice two-tone look with that black trim line going down the bottom and the top of the vehicle. The car itself is a HSE spec, so it does come with all the bits and bobs, all the extras. 3-litre diesel, has lots of little bits and bobs, which I'll show you now. And the boot lid obviously is automatic. You have a reversing camera here as well. There's a small button here that you press and it opens the boot lid. Massive amounts of space in the back there. This here is a electric tail lift, which you can sort of fold down at the press of a button. It gives you a little bit of a seating area, so if you guys want to sit here, and you've obviously got the boot lid there to shade you from any rain. The Discovery, what makes it very special in this model is it comes in a 7-seat model, which is all fully electric. There's a full panel here which allows you to do many things. So if you press these two buttons here, you'll see those seats tilt forward and your two back seats then start to come out, fully electronic, which I personally think is an absolute beautiful feature and a great thing to have. I mean, I've had 7-seaters in the past, I've got one now as well, but it doesn't do anything like this, I can assure you of that. And even these back seats are fully leather, absolutely lovely. These ones are literally still brand new. And then, as you can see, those seats, the second row slightly reclined forward to let the seats come up and then recline back. So if we put these back down again, you'll see these go back down just at the touch of a button. Both of them straight down, which is absolutely great. In the boot, you've got little anchors here to hang your things off. You've got a 12-volt socket on this side as well. Now the other button at the bottom here, on this side, sorry, is your second row of seating. So as you can see, there's two there, which is your third row seating, and then your second row. So if you look at the second row now, if we press this, then basically that second row will all drop down to give you an absolute flat bed of capacity, so you can load quite a lot of stuff in there. I mean, it almost gives you the space of a van. I mean, I know they do these in a commercial, but look at that space. You can chuck a mattress, go to sleep on there. It'd be brilliant for a camping trip, you know. Absolutely amazing. Look at that space, the capacity. It's just something else. So then when you press these two buttons again, them seats automatically come back up, and that middle seat actually has a little hatch which you can drop down if you've got ski bags or golf clubs or anything like that. It will allow just the middle seat to go down, so you can get your ski bag straight through the middle, anything like that. And then obviously we just press that button again over here for the tailgate, and the tail lift will come back up, and that will give you that closed area, which I think is an absolutely beautiful option. Having 7 seats and then having them work like that, I think it's absolutely beautiful. So we then press the button again, boot lid will close. Being the HSE, everything on this vehicle is automated, which is what makes it so special. So moving to the inside of the car, very pleasant place this. The whole car is covered in leather. Everywhere you look, there's leather interior. There's this beautiful double drink holder here. You've got a nice cubby place there, which has a big storage area there, and another storage tray there. You've got your memory card readers, and you've got a USB port, micro SIM for your phone, and then you've got your 12-volt outlet there. The gear selector on this, as you can see, is similar to the Jaguar ones and all the other Land Rovers. Beautiful tray here covers this, which gives you a lovely sort of piano wood finish. And start button here keyless start, obviously. The keys in my hand. Starts up. Absolutely lovely. Great, nice, beautiful visual display. You can see everything quite clearly. Multi-function steering wheel, which has more or less everything you'd want. Dual air conditioning. Has a window screen, defrost, AC max, and as you can see here, this here is your multi-terrain, which lets you select many different programs. This is hill descent, so if you're going down a hill, it'll help you rather than letting you roll down too fast. You've got this selector here, which is then grass and gravel and snow, which basically selects different programs for you. You see it there in your dash when it comes up. And you've got the next program there, which is mud ruts. So basically, if you're in a slightly muddy area, that's the best control for you. And then you've got this one here, which is then goes onto sand. And then you've got this one, which then goes onto rock crawl. So if you're going on somewhere which is really rocky, then that's the one for you basically. If we move it back, we're not doing anything like that, so we'll just move it back into standard comfort mode. And there you can see comfort mode selected, which then gives you the best drive, which is absolutely great. And then if you can see up here, we have in this model twin sunroofs, which basically open from these buttons here. That's the first one, and then you have another one at the rear there. And that fully opens there. There's the one in the rear, which you can see opens there at the back, which is for the rear passengers, gives you that little bit more light and airy feel. But this one here is absolutely beautiful, and great panoramic view. And these seats here all boast lovely armrests, so that you can sit down in full luxury, heated, cooled and massaged from what I can see. And generally a very nice place to be. You can see there it projects your satellite navigation in the speedometer as well, and you got your rev counter there and your speed, which is lovely. Has the paddle shifters on the steering wheel if you need them. This particular car has a Meridian sound system, which is a full surround sound, full electric windows, electric mirrors, everything, and memory seats, as you can see here. And generally a very nice place to be, and very looking forward to taking this car for a drive, because I haven't driven this particular car and this particular model before, which I think it's a lovely vehicle by the looks of it, and we'll give it a drive and see what you think. But I'll show you around the back as well, because it is a lovely place to be. So we'll go around to the back now and we'll check it out. Before we go into the back, as you can see, these are reclining seats. You've got electrics on the seats then, which allow them to recline back and forward to a certain amount to make it a little bit more comfortable. This vehicle does have the rear entertainment package, which is lovely. And then you've got the rear climate control down there, and you've got a remote control with HDMI ports and USB ports, so that you can control the screens. The middle seat, like I said to you, does have an armrest here, which is nice. Has twin cup holders, or you can flip it down just like that, and that allows you more load space if you've got any ski bags or anything like that that need to go all the way through. Great option to have, I think. Opens up that space, which is lovely. So sitting in the back now, very comfortable, I must say. These seats are lovely. It's literally like just as good as sitting in the front, really. It's very comfortable. I wouldn't mind being chauffeured in a vehicle like this. You have the rear vents there, so you get all your climate control. You can control all your climate from the back here, which is nice. And like I said, you have your HDMI ports and things like that in the back there. There's a remote control here, which allows you to control the screens. So if you look at the screen, and I'll just turn it on, see what this does. So that there turns on that screen, and then you've obviously got different options, media, seats. And if you go through the seats, you can control the heating or the cooling of your seats. You have to pick which seat you want to control. and then pick the temperature. Obviously that one's set to hot. If we come out of there, you can even set your navigation from here, your temperature, your media. If you go into media, you could got radio, USB, media library. So it gives you a great amount of options, and sitting in the back here, it'll definitely keep you entertained. There's no doubt about that if you've got a few kids that want to sit in the back. And I think with this media library, it's based on what you put into those HDMIs at the back there. That allows you to control whatever you want to control. But yeah, I mean, great system and great usability. It's something you'd have to play with to get used to, but I mean, just switch that off now, and we'll put that remote back. But otherwise, 3 people sitting in here, be very comfortable. I mean, I'm 6'3", and even with that seat where it is, my legs are just touching the seat, but you know, I'm comfortable. I could sit here on a long journey. You could take me far in this and I wouldn't have any complaints. Generally, very beautiful interior. Lovely having this panoramic roof, lets the sunlight come in, which is nice. And once you pull that central armrest down, it's great. And it's so nice to have those 2 seats in the back, and if you don't use them, then you've got such a massive load capability, which is lovely to have. You got your lighting panel up here, and even vents up here to blow you sort of air conditioning so that you don't feel too hot in the summer, which I think is absolutely great. I've never seen those vents on the roof. I've seen them on the side panels all the time in a lot of vehicles, but I've never seen AC vents on the roof, which is obviously to keep your face and your head cool, which is, I think, a great option to have. So let's take it for a drive and we'll see how it feels, see if it lives up to the name. Also, forgot to note, the 2 back seats here, this one and that one, have Isofix hangers, so you can fit any of your kids' seats if you need to. Also, there's buttons here which allow you to move that seat over to get the passengers into the rear if need be, which is a great little option to have. So you don't have to go around the back to fold the seats. Gives you that little bit of access, so you can do that. So we're in the Land Rover Discovery 5. Let's take it for a little drive. We use this selector here, just select it into drive. Another really great option that I've seen in this car, which is quite impressive. There's a set of buttons here which allows you to put the car into 3 height settings. The top setting is an off-road height, which you can feel the vehicle rising. Then the middle setting is a comfort vehicle height, which is a normal height for daily driving. And then you've got a bottom one which is called access height, so if you have to get into a garage or anything like that, it lowers the vehicle so it gives you better access, which I think is a great option to have. So yeah, just drop it into drive there. You've got drive, and then you've got a sport mode as well. We'll put it into drive for now, just for a nice comfortable pull away. I must say, very commanding view in this car. You're sitting like you're sitting well high above, very luxurious feeling, a very nice drive, feels great to sort of sit in this position. You're not feeling tight or, you know, congested or anything. It's a very nice place to be honest. And normally is in 4x4s, being a little bit higher up is a nice place to be, but this is particularly a lovely drive height and a lovely seat height. And for me, sometimes it is quite hard to find the perfect seat setting, but I've sat in this and I haven't had to move my seat around a massive amount to get into a comfortable place. I think it is generally designed for, you know, any size of driver, so you can adjust this seat into many positions to get yourself comfortable. So I mean, even if it's going to be a smaller chap or a lady driving the vehicle, you can get this seat right close to the steering, nice and comfortable. If it's a big guy, you can even move this seat a little bit more back and a little lower to get yourself comfortable, which I think is absolutely great. It's got a great view onto the road. You don't feel, even though it's such a big car, you don't feel that there's that much in front of you. You definitely don't feel like there's that much behind you, which is a really good thing, because I mean, when you're driving a big car like this, you don't want to feel like you're driving around in a Sprinter van, let's say. driving this, you feel like you're driving a normal car. You feel like you're driving a small car. In fact, it doesn't have that massive vehicle feeling, and believe me, it is a big vehicle. You realize how big it is when you start to wash it, like I've done earlier on. The panels are absolutely massive, and going around the vehicle you realize how big it actually is. But generally driving now on these are country lanes, so they're not the smoothest of lanes, but it's absorbing the bumps and the imperfections in the road quite well, and it drives absolutely lovely. Definitely would recommend it. The sat nav here now is telling me that there's a speed camera in front, which is a great little option to have, even though that speed camera was pulled out by a tractor many years ago, angry farmer who got a ticket, so that speed camera is no longer there, but this thinks it is. But you know, I think it's a great thing. But in terms of acceleration as well, the car's ever so light. It pulls away like a feather. It's beautiful. It doesn't have that heavy feeling like older automatics used to, and that high revving where you can just hear the engine sort of revving up and trying to move away and struggling to pull away. There's none of that in this. It just goes. It's seamless. You can't feel the gear changes. The automatic box is absolutely beautiful. And I remember having the 3-litre XJ that was similar to this, but you could still feel it a little bit in that. Whereas this, I think it has been refined quite a lot, and I think the drive is a lot better. But obviously, being a 2020 model, it's 10 years on from the XJ I had. Obviously the same engine, but many refinements have taken place since then. And generally, looking at it, you've got everything here to hand. You've got all the buttons you'd want there. You're not having to look for anything, which I think is a great thing with Land Rover. And I think some cars these days going into technology so much that they've put all these gadgets and buttons and things in, but sometimes when you're driving they're ever so hard to find, and that is sometimes makes it a little bit of a struggle. But in this car you don't get that feeling. It does, everything is right there when you need it, and it's a great little thing to have, to be honest. And we're going to pull out of here now, and I'm going to put it into sport mode and see how that acceleration performs. I know it's not a performance vehicle, but sometimes even with a big car like this you want to have that bit of acceleration if you need it, because let's face it, who doesn't like to have a little bit of rallying every now and then? Everybody does. Well, I definitely do. No matter what car I'm in, it has to have a certain amount of performance. And I know this is a diesel, but let's go for it. All the way into the red line, revs up to 4,000 revs. Not shy at all. Absolutely beautiful. Look at that. Just wants to keep going. To be fair, it's very impressive. It's more impressive than I thought, to be honest. A little bit of oversteer, obviously you're going to expect that from a big vehicle like this, but generally it went very well and quite impressive. So, you know, it doesn't shy away from performance either. So for such a big heavy car, weighs 2,490 odd kilos, you can't feel that when you're accelerating, I can tell you that for sure. But I mean, you know, tell me what you think in the comments below. If you've driven one of these, or if you've driven a Range Rover comes with the same engine, let me know what you think. I mean, performance wise, it's got more than you'd need, and I don't think you need any more than this. If you do, then obviously you can go for a Range Rover SVR, which will give you the top power, but otherwise this has got everything. I'd love to one of the days do a 4x4 video in this and chuck it on a bit of rough terrain and see how it performs, but obviously it's passed all the tests, and it does the business, and that's why the Discovery has always been the one for the rugged trail. I think what they used to say in the earlier days is that obviously the Defender has its position that it can go anywhere, but a Discovery is basically a more luxurious version of a Defender, so it can do what the Defender can do, but a bit more luxury. But the Range Rover used to always be a class above in terms of luxury, but when you sit in the Discovery 5 and you look at this, I don't think there's anything that the Range Rover has that's not in this vehicle. This has absolutely everything. In terms of luxury, I'd give it 5 out of 5, and in terms of performance for a 3-litre diesel, I'd give it 10 out of 10. So to be fair, what is there in this vehicle that you're getting in what isn't there in this vehicle that you're getting in a Range Rover? You know, it's an absolute beautiful car. You got 7 seats, which I think is a great option, fully electric, and a great little option to have. To me, if I was to pick one of the cars out of the Land Rover range, it'd definitely be this. The Discovery 5, like I said, has always been one of my favourites, and I do love driving this car, and it is a very enjoying drive. We can take this car all the way to London and back to Scotland, and you wouldn't sit in here at any point and think, oh, you know what, I don't want to drive that car no more. Throughout the full drive, you would enjoy it, because it is a damn luxury to drive. And even that commanding sat-nav navigation screen in front of you has everything there. It's widescreen, beautiful, the air conditioning, sitting in this car. I mean, I would say as a daily driver, even if you could afford to buy one of these and run one of these, I mean, in terms of MPG, it's not going to be the best, but I'm sure it'll maintain around 30 MPG. And if you can afford it, to buy it and run it, I think it'd be an absolute lovely car to drive every day. And generally, it's a beautiful car to look at, and it's definitely a beautiful place to be. So sitting inside this car, I haven't got any complaints at all. I don't think I can fault it. It ticks more or less every box, if you ask me. Nice bit of stretch up here now. We've got a lovely sunny day today. This is beautiful sunny Shropshire, if you don't know. And even in these country lanes, it just burrs along. Look at it. And it's quiet as well. There's not much road noise, and you can't really hear that diesel engine. If I was sort of sitting in this car as a passenger, I wouldn't be able to say it's a diesel. Only when you look at that rev counter and you see it revving out at 4,000 revs, and obviously you know a little bit about cars, you'll know that this is a 3-litre diesel. Otherwise, sound wise, it sounds like a petrol. It sounds nice, it sounds quiet inside for sure. I don't know about outside. You can probably hear it a little bit better outside, but inside you couldn't say. It's well insulated, and you have that lovely sense of safety and security sitting in this vehicle. You know, you feel safe in here. If I was to carry my family in here, I wouldn't at any point feel like, you know, I'm sitting in a lightweight vehicle that if it was to have an impact, they'd have any injuries or any problems, because to be fair, it seems like quite a safe, strong vehicle. And generally, like I said, very nice to drive. So let me know what you guys think, if you've driven one of these, or if you like them, if you don't, what you think of it. I know when they came out, there was a bit of controversy about that back number plate being a bit offset to the left, but you know what, I think that's more of a sort of choice thing. Some people like it, some people don't. And believe it or not, they did actually make a conversion kit where you can sort of cut that back piece out and put it in, and it centers the number plate. I don't think it's a big thing to fuss about, but if you really was that concerned about it, then that is available. Obviously, I think that may void your warranty, so it's always worth checking that. But otherwise, yeah, absolute lovely car to drive. 10 out of 10 if you ask me. Let me know what you guys think. Like and subscribe. Hit the notifications button. So basically, to sum it up, I think generally it's a lovely car, beautiful to drive. I've just taken it for a small drive now, and even when I switched the camera off, I had another little go in it, and it performs very well and it's very impressive. If I was to have to choose one of the Land Rover range, it'd definitely be this one. And you know, if your views are different and you've got anything that you think, you know what, nah, this is better and you should come down and have a look, let me know, give me a shout. I'll come down and have a look at it, take it for a drive, give it a review. Always been nice to see what you've got, and always happy to travel a little bit if I have to. Check it out, see what you think. But generally, the Discovery 5, it's a beautiful car to own and drive. Absolutely lovely. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Like and subscribe. Nice seeing you guys again. Take care. See you soon with another video.